Welcome everyone to another live stream. Some disassembly and look inside fun, the usual electronics and electrons fun here on this channel. And what you see here is my nice collection of broken as previously seen. So these are original Apple power supplies, so all of them, they break so often, so all of them are broken. Maybe eventually I wanted to measure and maybe repair them. My remark on quality, previous videos, and also in the previous video I actually said, let's zoom in here a little bit. In the previous video I said, so not only these cables are garbage, right? I mean the cables are not making this up. Just watch other people in your friends and family. This also in the previous video I repaired this here. This is of my wife's. Yes, this is also broke already off. Yeah, also this small plastic noses, but that's not the topic of this video. And this surprisingly still works. So this is, why is this with shrink wrap? Because Apple quality always breaks here, similar to this here. This is, by the way, original. I said this before. Amazing Apple quality, so a little bit more protection anyway. So this surprisingly still works. After the repair, all of these are broken, original Apple, and so this is, one is the older generation. Let me quickly, I think this is older, like 10 years ago. These both are 85 watt chargers, if you ever wondered what is inside. So they updated the components a little bit. They are just a little bit, here's the transformer here, and here there's some big cap here, so slightly different over the years. This is 5 years, this is 10 years, and together with these goes here, this is what was inside here, this is some shielding stuff that goes here, the amazing Apple. Anyway, just if you wondered, also in previous videos I said maybe this garbage stuff here is not helpful. In the meantime, I thought about this slightly. Maybe this actually is helping in terms of thermal. So maybe this, although it looks gunky and of course really ugly and not very repair friendly at all, aside, you need to crack this open, right? So for example, this is also broken. I had this in the previous video. If all this, so they break, and this, by the way, this is mine. So not only my significant others or friends and family and employees and such break. This is mine. You see, it is nearly scratch free. It nearly didn't travel. It was nearly only below my desk. Even the cable, because I barely moved it. Even the cable after 7 years or so. Cable is perfect. This broke, so yeah. But this video is about aftermarket stuff, and this is an aftermarket one. And you see, it actually doesn't have an Apple logo here. And so the funny thing is, also this is somewhat a warning. So my wife brought this while traveling, and I'm not sure if maybe this stopped working or something of that sort. I don't remember anyway. It is 2 years ago, and I told her please buy an original one, and she came back with this one, and I took it. So this is super light, right? So this is the aftermarket. So not usually, of course, it's not 100% proof, but usually the cheap Chinese aftermarket ones do not have an Apple logo. And this one, this Chinese one, is significantly lighter. So this Apple original one is really heavy, and this here is really light. And the person, I asked my wife, why did you buy this? I asked you for an original Apple one, and she said, no, this is an original Apple one. I said, no, already from just touching it, it is not. And also the Apple one here has some safety marks and fine print. The aftermarket one does not. So, of course, we kept it. It was half of the price. Also, how do you recognize cheap aftermarket stuff? Usually it is half the price. So we kept it. We were traveling. We needed a power. Oh, here's some fine print. I just realized. So the fine print on this one is on another place. Also, it says here replacement AC adapter. So obviously not original if it says replacement AC adapter. The official one obviously shows here Apple and whatnot, probably anyway, I guess, or does it? Actually, don't really see Apple here right now. Anyway, so the point is this stopped working some weeks ago, and of course, what do we do when stuff stops working? The original ones are really annoying to open. So the original ones, I think you need to heat them, because also my recurring theme here of please put screws and stuff. Why not 4 screws here? Doesn't hurt anyone. But this Apple stuff is heavily glued, as you see here, and also glue and gunk. And I probably have here original case material, so original Apple gunky glue stuff, because that's what they do. So the original Apple ones really difficult to open. I usually heat them with a hot air station, and then I pry this here out by like pushing this here out, obviously after heating. And this light Chinese aftermarket one, of course the same, no screws. However, this one is significantly less glued. I just had to push it a little bit. Of course, I did this before the video, so that's maybe interesting to show. So that is inside here. And as you see, significantly less gunk. So basically everything just comes out here. The Apple one is significantly more in glued. So aftermarket one, significantly less components, significantly less glue. I would guess, I also heard maybe at Louis Rossmann's channel that the aftermarket ones, so the Apple ones, they have a one-wire communication, so they communicate even a serial number, something usually not found necessarily on PCs. And so on one of like maybe this IC there, or one of those, of course they also switching power supply stuff, but one of those ICs there is doing this or this, whatever, is doing the one wire stuff, meaning the MacBook reads here over these 2 wires. This is of course ground and positive. And so this is also a safety feature. So not only do you have the serial number and the wattage, so the PC, you plug something in, even if it's aftermarket and whatnot, the MacBook, the PC doesn't know the wattage. On this one, they have a wattage indicator. So they, with a one wire, the PC, the laptop, the MacBook is reading 45, 65, 85 watt or something, and is only turning on power, as you've probably seen from Louis Rossmann's video, that the charger, it's a little bit of a safety feature that most of the, like 99% of the PC power supplies probably don't have. The PC power supplies, especially the round plugs and everything, they just have power always. These Mac chargers, they communicate with one wire, and only if everything is okay and matches up and such, then the MacBook says, hey, everything is honky-dory, please power supply, start supplying power. I'm not sure if this Chinese one is doing this. Of course it's doing one wire, otherwise the MacBook wouldn't like it. So either this one here, or how many integrated circuits there are, some transistors, some big capacitors, some small, of course this is not the main transformer, this is switching power supply, so this is only, so either here are only 2 main integrated circuits, so either this one or this one, as far as I see here right now, is doing one wire. So this is like faking a serial number and wattage, and maybe it always supplies power. Maybe I try, welcome everyone by the way, how are you all doing? Happy holidays to everyone. So maybe I try to repair this another day, measure a little bit around, but that's not the topic of this video. I only wanted to show you how does this stuff look inside. Leave me in the comments below. Maybe, so this is of course a totally, I would, by the way, if you have any engineering tips regarding safety, I mean, this is isolated, this is like glued, it didn't fall apart by itself, although it has significantly less glue. So I would think if you drop this a couple of times on tiles or concrete floor, maybe it would open, this aftermarket one. And otherwise, I mean, it has here some separation, as you see here. So some, this is actually, yeah, so probably this, yeah, this is surprising. So this is a low voltage side. Here on this side, so that is usually what you do for some isolation here of voltages, that stuff doesn't creep over in case of damages and whatnot from your high voltage to low voltage side. So they have here on the Chinese one a little bit of separation. And of course, here's a small transformer for the digital switching logic, and then the rest is, should be digital switching switching power supply. Maybe we draw, so this is of course super simple, the most simple basic stuff. Not really sure what the Apple stuff is doing more. Maybe it is, so it has actually, at least fun fact, it looks like here's a small transformer, so maybe it has actually, or as a problem is with all this. So if you are an expert in this, maybe leave me in the comments below what you think regarding safety. I mean, by the way, made by Delta, right? This is the Apple one, made by Delta. I mean, not that Apple would manufacture anything themselves. Also, the original Apple one, so this is the other made in China, obviously. So there you have it, only live here on this channel. Original Apple one, older, newer. Also here, this is a thermal pad, looks a little bit like, this looks actually like a little bit thermal pad here, some MOSFETs or something. Yeah, leave me in the comments below if you want to see more of this stuff. And what I will do now, because so this aftermarket stuff of course doesn't work, but it has a nice power cord in contrast to this 2x shrink wrap power cord. Also, this is of course not really, by the way, maybe already heat up, here's a soldering iron. This is of course not really how you should do it. Of course because I mean safety wise, although it did not yet open, so I mean if you are a professional electrician, probably you roll your eyes now. It's my safety stuff here, but this was just a temporary test. I wanted to see how long this lasts. Also actually now this stupid cheap Tesafilm stuff, so leaving some residues. Yeah, so this is again, so, and by the way, this is how often these things break. I have here already 4. These are 4 official Apple power supplies, all broken. Not making this stuff up. And I didn't glue this back together because obviously with a stupid cable I was waiting to find another cable. Actually, now that I could maybe fit this Russian aftermarket, maybe they are so compatible to switch them over. So anyway, so this is the Apple one, another Apple official one. Actually, a little bit, so much to just switching this over. It's actually not. There you see a repairability. Darn, I didn't account for that. Also, yeah, this glue stuff here totally sticking all over the place. Darn, this is actually not really nice to get into there to solder that out. So yeah, Apple repairability, even just soldering these wires even means peeling off all the problem with is that even if you peel the stuff off, this does it probably electromagnetic interference isolation, right? All this copper stuff and maybe heatsink. But the problem is that it is really difficult to get this back together. Yeah, this is also soldered there. So yeah, just to get to this 2 wires Apple repairability on, well, the first ground I probably could get somewhat easy. Yeah, repairability it's said. Anyway, yeah, I will solder this out probably off camera. This takes it too long to. Anyway, so which is let's see. I hope you enjoyed this overview of this look inside of power supply goodness. Let's see, microwave gluing, would it be some ISO standard, waterproof and safety? Totally agree, it's not repair friendly. So you say actually didn't know that is what microwave actually is. It's an interesting point. Maybe I should research that. Hewlett Packard, Dell, Lenovo and a few models, same nonsense to determine current capabilities of the brick are. Didn't know that. I thought most PC things always supply power, but interesting. Code ASM said 2 wires, a third wire controlled by the IC inside the connector at the laptop side. What do you mean with third wire? So as far as I know, so this is modulated on there, right? So this is it's like is it 1 wire, or we could actually quickly Google that. Probably Apple power supply 1 wire, or this is somehow I think modulated. Okay, this of course one wire matic or something. So what do they say here? Media sense. Here is something raw schematic of the battery MagSafe. So do we have this here? So this is MagSafe PCB, so MagSafe feedback. So ground is like the outmost pins. Then actually this is okay. They have here some coil and yeah. So this is just 2 times the pins for having the load. Otherwise, this small ball grid pins they are spring loaded, right? These here. So if you can press them in, they are spring loaded here to have the best contact, which also obviously we don't focus because focus. So this fine pins here, spring loaded, goodness. Anyway, not really sure. Power supply schematics, charge control pin. Maybe this is only internal. Maybe this charge control pin only goes to the LED here because this LED obviously can change color. Because obviously we see from the power supply. So this is only one wire modulated on the power pin on the power wire, I think. Do we have here Jetson on the developer kit? Complete laser power supply schematics. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, here one wire circuit for green light on the MagSafe there. Louis Rossmann at its finest here. I hope you learned something, and also, yeah, at least also repairability again. Yeah, why not? Actually, no, we are heating here. Maybe we can try. So where is actually? So the good thing is we have a relatively powerful, of course, not Louis Rossmann level, but at least something. Otherwise, so you need a little bit of power to melt here this. Yeah, also so much too. Yeah, highest temperature. Of course, again, this is not also. If you want to go fancy with soldering, of course, this direct tip heating elements here in 2019. Yeah, this is slightly more. I forgot about this stupid electromagnetic cooling isolation stuff here. Do we? Where is this? Repairing stuff that even Louis Rossmann doesn't want to repair. And this is snapped in here. Burning your fingers with this. Yeah, I probably should get myself a fine screwdriver. So the problem is if I pull on this, then I could have easily have the solder in my face. If this snaps off. Really doesn't want to come off though. The problem is on the other ones that I already opened, I just pulled with extreme force and then all this copper shield is distorting. Oh, welcome for this. Found your channel recently researching RISC-V. Amazing stuff. Thank you for the super chat. RISC-V. Actually, I continued with the RISC-V information. Any idea what next videos will be on the subject? Thank you very much for the super chat, for the question and finding this channel. I actually continued. I have some challenges. So next I want to integrate, actually I can talk about this a little bit while we try to get this stupid copper shielding stuff off of here. So I continued. I actually have hardware cursor, so I have a much better, actually, why is here some hair? So I have some challenges integrating this with the RISC-V core, and actually I just, like literally yesterday, I messaged Clifford Wolf from Yosys fame and asked him, because my design is getting optimized away, so if I integrate my VGA core with the probably I should. I think it's getting. No, it's coming. Just don't want to have this burning solder on my skin. So when I integrate this with the RISC-V core, then my VGA core is optimized away for the most part. I have no idea why. So maybe I have some really stupid beginner issue with like some design constraint that is not valid and is somehow working accidentally. This is why actually I messaged Clifford Wolf. He said only one short thing. Probably he also doesn't. I mean, I was surprised he answered because I mean, obviously he started Rock Linux. I know him very well. But, he's certainly very busy also. He only said that there's some driver conflict, which I knew there was a warning like RGB, but I changed this. It's still getting optimized away. I probably was thinking also maybe tomorrow we can make a live stream about that. I was thinking to put this in another file, like just because right now I have it in separated files. I was thinking to just test this further. Why is this not getting off over there? To put this in the same file, like picosocks or something super trivial, and then, yeah, if we eventually find out why this design is optimized away, we still have some challenges to have a real VGA core, like real graphic core. But also, so if this eventually works, so of course we need to add something's beeping here in the background. Slightly wonder what that is. Why is this not getting off? This is hilarious. So yeah, we have still some address logic to implement. What have they done? The problem is, of course, that this copper is conducting all the heat away. So that certainly doesn't make soldering. I also should have. Do I not have a screwdriver here? Apparently not. Yeah, so then graphics. So of course the graphic core is also, I need to debug it a little bit more. It's still some pixels off by a little bit. Yeah, the best tools here on this, only best tools not, only here on this channel. Yeah, so that is next eventually. So ideally I would want, by the way, I uploaded this to GitHub yesterday to share with Clifford. If you're interested in this VGA core code, it's on GitHub, rxrbln. Probably I can link it below the video. Why is this totally not moving? What am I? Here, only deforming this copper shields there. Bloody shit. Now you know why Louis Rossmann is not repairing this garbage. What have they done here? Looks like just some... I wonder what is beeping here in the background. So yeah, that is coming for VGA, FPGA stuff, and so ideally I would also continue adding eventually graphic and keyboard video. Someone else has some USB core, not sure if it works. Sometimes people have example code that doesn't work. And by the way, if this looks a little bit funny, always without camera, it's always easier. I know we are moving here. Maybe no, we are off, yeah, maybe. Without cameras here in front of my face and cables left and right, it's usually easier if you're wondering why this looks so near. So, can we get this off? No. Darn it. So yeah, repairability, deforming here the whole, what? So now that is that, but the problem is, now even, do we get this? Okay, no, okay, we have, okay, so this is this. Also, yeah, so this is, really looks like thermal pad here on some VRMs, something of that sort. And what is, this is, Okay, here they have, actually, so they have, this apparently is here some plastic shield for, as you see, this PCB is way more populated also, so this is light on, the other was Delta, so much to Apple's suppliers, you're right. The other one was Delta here. Oops. This is light on, just for, if you were wondering what are Apple suppliers. Where's my tea? Here's my tea. So so this huge blobs here apparently are, I mean, these are a little bit huge blobs. What is this light on soldering? Look at this enormous soldering through hole soldering this eye. This is a little bit large, to be honest. I wonder who has done that. Anyway, so the first one here, is it labeled? Oh, so this is labeled ground. Ah, yeah, so here, as you may or may not see when we can, so ground is here the open wire stuff, and we have here only two wires that is even labeled their ground there, so that is that. Yeah, also a lot of garbage now on this tip. So yeah, also, so this plastic stuff, obviously some isolation here. They, as I said, the aftermarket one has this huge area of, then why is this totally not? Okay, this ground wire is, I can't barely touch it so much too. I mean, this soldering iron is not the worst. So I mean, the whole ground wire gets hot. And also, I've already all this Apple whatever powder stuff here on my fingers here. So as you see, you need here quite some power, because the ground wire is certainly conducting, transferring all the heat away to the point where I can't even say, really can't touch it. So here, this is, as previously mentioned, low, high voltage part separation goodness. Can't even pull it out, probably I should. So yeah, certainly MacBook power, MacBook PCB, more fun to solder. So yeah, best use some. Damn, the whole PCB gets so hot. No, it's out. Yeah, the whole thing gets so hot you can't touch it anymore. So yeah, power supply stuff, not the most cool to repair. Let's see how good we get it out from the, darn it. All just to have a nicer cable here. But my grief here with this Apple cables is also, you would really think in 2019 they have solved the cable issue, that they still manufacture cables that break like this. Could actually think they do this intentionally. I'm only live on this channel, you. How can this be such a challenge to get a through cable out of here? The whole cable is too hot to touch, but the whole PCB, I wonder if it's really not good, to be honest. Hope I don't burn this IC next to it. I really only hope we don't destroy the logic IC next to it. That would be really a pity. Darn it. What have they done here with this? All I wanted was change a cable. Anyway, you have seen this aftermarket power supply, the other one from inside, all the Apple manufacturing stuff. Hope you learned something. Thanks for asking about FPGA. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something. But now we have it out. Darn it. Anyway, at least we have here something out. If you have any suggestions, if you're an expert to switching power supply stuff, leave us in the comments below. Let's see, so this is just next to, the whole PCB got mighty hot. Anyway, then let's, if you already streamed so long, we can also take this out of here. Let's see how that will work. Okay, so this Apple PCB stuff has significantly better thermal conductivity. Look how easy this stuff goes out of here. It's a really, here look at this, what difference this is. Easy peasy, this is crazy difference. So, and then obviously everyone, well, certainly only recommended if you understand a little bit of electron stuff. Here was ground labeled. There is the positive down there. And certainly don't try this at home if you have no understanding of electrons and stuff. Don't kill yourself. Only for authorized service personnel. Darn it. Yeah, through-hole stuff and cables, certainly. Yeah. Now we have it through there. Probably should also have this on camera. Welcome, Detard. So yeah, also in general, not the worst thing here to make out of two broken ones. One is the switching power supply is broken, on the other the cable is broken. So at least we have one nice one, hopefully, if we didn't kill the switching logic IC there. So yeah, ground there, and that there also, by the way, I hope this copy, because for the ones who tuned in recently, I hope this is compatible enough that we doesn't look exactly the same. Darn it. Anyway, if this doesn't fit perfectly nicely, then we just cut a little bit and press it through there. Then this is amazing. Also, not to forget, here this isolating thing that was from this side down here. This voltage isolating amazingness. And then this amazing heatsink shielding. That was, by the way, where was this? Was this soldered on this cap maybe? Maybe I should have actually looked at this. Yeah, probably, that probably looks like, also yeah, genuine 3M stuff. So that was this way, and yeah, it looks like, so this probably is ground, I guess. So yeah, it looks, I should have actually, so this looks like, I mean, otherwise it doesn't make sense that this capacitor pin is so high. Actually should have reviewed this in more detail before we desoldered this, but whatever, probably. So that goes in there again, and it can be short. There's something, well, it actually looks relatively well. So yeah, then yeah, that is copper stuff going on this cap pin there. Let's hope we didn't overheat anything. It's our amazing procedure. Welcome, Fred. I hope that really helps people also. Yeah, you see, after some years it anyway gets difficult to get genuine Apple parts. After some years they stop producing stuff. You already can't get these batteries, and certainly older. I mean, you can already not get power supplies for iBooks, and actually also probably should. Let's just heat a little bit. High and low voltage separation in the Chinese one. The Chinese one you can rewind, or I show it to you here. So the Chinese one is there, much simpler, and yeah, separation wise, I mean, the Chinese one has much larger gap here. The Apple one has a cut PCB with some plastic looking. Maybe it's a little bit more fancy than plastic, by the way. Can they? So the Chinese one much simpler. If Detard is an expert in this, can we show it? There's something. Not really sure where the Chinese one saved the most in regards to safety. The Apple one, much less separation, but a cut in the PCB. Does this look perfect there? Hopefully. I mean, what? Except fully burning through and destroying. What could possibly go wrong, right? Famous last word. So does this, actually should have checked this before, but actually it kit fits somehow a little bit. So much to so yeah, of course the thermal conductivity here is not as amazing anymore because we broke the seal with the plastic. If this probably certainly was designed for darn it, for thermals. Do I want to? Yeah, so this Chinese one actually really fits here. This, although it's slightly different looking. It's not perfect, but whatever. So let's see. I don't see any opto isolators on the Chinese one, at least not on this side. Chinese one. So here is that in full glory. Also T. And so this bracket, do I have the other bracket? Where is, okay, here's some, so this, also yes, so you, actually no, here's, here are this covers. So, how was this in there, either this way or, this way, and let's that way, let's hope, so my wife already lost one of those clippy things here. Let's hope the Chinese plastic thing fits into there. How does it go on there? Apparently like that, I guess. And Then you have, as I said, best glued back together. Where are these snappy things? So these are some of the Chinese ones. Where is a genuine Apple snappy thing? Or should we already? They look a little bit thicker though. Maybe the Chinese ones. You have it already together. Want to make it perfect and all the stuff, by the way. So, this is better. Fits maybe. No, the Chinese ones are. Where's the Apple one? Oh, here. Wait a second. Why is here? Third one of these. What? Anyway, you get the idea. I have the feeling the Chinese ones are slightly different in size. Beside right now. It doesn't fit perfectly. Where is the Apple one? Lost it somehow. Anyway, it may or may not work. Do I have... Sorry. I had a little bit of a cold the last days. So yeah, I also wonder where in China, but probably they just manufacture this, right? Or do they... whatever. Anyway. Need to glue this. Yeah, the problem is if you want to glue this permanently, you might need to scratch there inside some stuff out. Amazing, not amazing, repairability of this stuff. Anyway, certainly this cable is much nicer than this 2 times broken one. Not making this stuff up. This happened naturally at the usual points where this stuff breaks here. Recurring shout out that not recommended. Hope you learned something and enjoyed this. Everything goes unless it's an opto-isolator here. That's crap. So yeah, Apple ones, Apple one, Chinese one, Apple one. But in general, I wish at least they would include here screws to the case, and then it would also really cool to measure what really breaks here, because all of those Apple ones are broken. All of the 3, or maybe I have a 4th of those. Would be really interesting to know, like Louis Rossmann style, what here breaks that we could repair this maybe, if the Tart has an idea. Problem is where to start measuring. Probably. Also, fun fact, although this Apple one here was usually they work on other Macs, and this is a MacBook Air one with 45 or so watts. Something of that sort. And what is really funny is that this small one does not work on my Retina MacBook Pro. Usually this works. I think actually, I don't know why, I think it, even before I switched here this cord, it reported the wrong wattage with the 1-wire bus. And maybe it transmitted 85 watts, or at least my Retina MacBook Pro detects this as 85 watts, and this is after 10 seconds this one switches off. Really annoying when you travel with this one accidentally. And I should actually analyze this also another day why this is happening, but yeah, this is also really annoying. Usually this stuff works. Should I actually re-plug it into my problem is I only have my... Anyway, that's it for today. Don't really want to test it now on YouTube. I could actually plug it into... this is the... Let's see if it immediately makes... Did not make a sound if I plug it in, so did not explode. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, which is the right scene button, maybe this. So yeah, hope to inspire people to repair stuff. Of course, it took a little bit while, especially with this glued construction. But anyway, I think we in general should just repair stuff. and not always. Yeah, it's not the world, but multiplied with all the serial defect breaking stuff here of, I mean, basically from each Mac, except maybe my iBook, which I sold on eBay decades ago. But yeah, I think from each other Mac of ours, at least the original power supply once died. Certainly each of mine here died already. If the power supply doesn't die, then the cables. So yeah. Anyway, hope to see you soon for more amazing stuff. Programming. We had this question here, what I want to see. So also question today, Verilog VHDL stuff. Also how many? 3,003. Yeah, back in Berlin and drop frames. Welcome, Carlos. So yeah, tons of stuff to come up from Verilog to kernel programming. And otherwise, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope to see you soon, certainly over Christmas here, most likely, if you want to tune in for some holiday video fun. And otherwise, as usual, leave me in the comments what you think to anything, and hope to see you soon for all this good stuff to come.